Hey everybody, welcome back to the Spinner Rack. I'm here with my boys PD and Kyle. What is rocking today, guys? Say what's up.
Hey,
What's going
Today
on?
we're reviewing
ready,
Wonder
ready to
Woman.
rock.
Say what?
He said he's ready to rock.
All right, ready to
As
rock.
always.
So today we're reviewing Wonder Woman #1, right? A new reboot, and of course, is being written by our boy Tom King. Oh my goodness!
Yeah. Yep, he's your
We're
boy.
talking about drop the mic. Let's get this bad boy rolling. So hey, I'm gonna kick this off to PD because I gotta hear what kind of
Why are you
magic.
kicking it off to me? Why don't you kick it off?
Okay, so the comic book basically takes place. It opens up with probably the most interesting thing here: a murder that we would not normally expect, but it's a murder where you have an Amazonian who ends up killing a bunch of men because he believes that they disrespected a woman at a bar. You know, 17 men were killed. No, of course, because of this, the government introduces legislation basically kicking out all Amazons out of the United States. If not, they were to be arrested and stuff like that. So this is basically the setup for the story. And what happens afterwards? You know, what happens? What happens to Wonder Woman? Where the hell is she? Why doesn't she try to prevent this? What happens? Why none of the other heroes step up and try to stop this I can't say mutant law because that's basically where I'm going to go. But this
there we go. That's pretty good.
Why stop at Amazonians? Hey, why don't you just stop the metahumans too? Boot, you know, we get all the things. But you know, it really deals with a lot of some of the criticism about this story deals with the fact that Wonder Woman comes in very late in the story. It deals with, you know, she's not really the main. It doesn't hold that she's the main character in the story, which I disagree. And it introduces a whole new villain. But hey, there's a lot to go over on this. Tom King's writing. Tom King is also very prominent in how people feel about this particular issue.
What do you mean?
You know, that he has imbued the story of Wonder Woman with some of his own beliefs, as opposed to following the narrative of Wonder Woman set in the past, right? I mean, it's only natural. You always have people push back. But, you know, before we really start knocking this, I just want to say one thing. The art is beautiful.
It's okay.
It's great. I love the art. The art is fantastic. The coloring
Who's
is
doing,
great.
who's doing the art?
Is
it Yannick Paquette or Tony Daniels?
It's a guy named Sampere. Sampere. Sampere.
Sampere or Sampierre?
No, not Pierre. It's Pere. Sampere. I don't know. Pere. So he but the art is really, really good. So it really grabbed me going through it. You have this you know, we know Tom King loves the panels, the 9-panel.
Well, that's where I had to say that's with my struggle where we open it up, we have this murder happen, and it's like, am I in the Watchmen or the Dark Knight? We got the Reporter or Spawn. Spawn likes to use this thing.
Heroes in Crisis.
Huh?
Heroes in Crisis.
Heroes in Crisis. They like to do this reporter thing, the talking heads, and getting into the Sarge Steel stuff. So Sarge Steel is out there, and we established that they have a way to take out the Amazons, right? So we had to see what they had. So Sarge Steel is, you know, ready to take her out, and that's when Wonder Woman comes later. So my real issue is mainly the kind of Watchmen #1 framework. Her going Outlaw, they've had a story in the past, but it was only one issue where she was they had the wanted thing. But, you know, you can, heroes being wanted is fine. That story I don't have an issue with. I just, you know, I didn't like the Watchmen framework and the talking heads and then the triggering stuff with the Amazonian and the fact that they have Wonder Woman type outfit going on in here. I think the Amazons have their outfits, which is the Greco-Roman stuff that Perez was doing, and Wonder Woman is a separate outfit that she uses to go into man's world. So, but you know, there's some okay stuff in here. Wonder Woman looks dynamic, but otherwise, and I saw issue 2 is connects to I think Amazon attack. So I was going into a crossover. I wasn't too keen about it, so I would be okay with the idea of this, but then going into a crossover, which was something that they already did when they did the what's that thing? They did Flashpoint. They had an evil sort of Wonder Woman Amazon thing against against Aquaman's world, that sort of thing. So I don't know. We need that. So all right, I think we're gonna let the lion out of his cage. Where's Cal?
Oh, he's right here, just waiting for my moment.
So yeah, it's the first one was okay, but we can see it's leading up to this Amazon attack, which I'm not too keen on. So I'd take off points for the talking head thing. The American flag thing that the Dark Knight and Watchmen had a panel, so it's more like they did have some news thing, but it wasn't as prominent. So it's more Dark Knight using the American flag stuff. So yeah, that's it. What up?
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes, you can.
Okay, cool. Just making sure. Yeah, I mean, okay. The biggest thing I said this to Petey already. I have no idea what Wonder Woman stands for any longer. If I was to read this story, no idea whatsoever. The Wonder Woman that I was introduced to so many years ago was 5'8", and she came from Paradise Island to man's world to show that hey, there's a better way to do things than what you guys are doing. It's too violent. We need to be okay. We need to try these particular ways that we learned on Paradise Island, and you guys will definitely improve from it. Who the heck is she today? I have no idea. She's gained 6 inches in height, and the mantra, or at least the mission that she initially had when she came, from Themyscira, which is well now from Themyscira, is that even in play any longer? Like, the whole setup of the story just seems to be like one long trigger. We're gonna have to have this Amazon who goes into a bar, and I'm trying to understand what bar is this in 2023, where the dudes are just gonna go over here and it's gonna be this gang of dudes with one chick. There's no women in there. There's no guys in there gonna look to police this. No, Chris, we're gonna have this. She's gonna kill all of them. Okay, then of course Wonder Woman's gonna have to get involved in the whole thing. She's talking with Sarge Steel. Of course, Sarge Steel is gonna have to be a jerk. Then she's gonna have to be a jerk right back to the whole thing. I'm like, why am I reading this? I'm like, what is this cat? What is the purpose of this character at the end of the day? She's just a political. She's just like a political cipher rather. To wherever Tom King's views are. What does Wonder Woman stand for? If you read this issue, could you tell me that? I don't care about the panels, the art. What is this story going to be about? Why should these Amazons? Why should I feel for the fact that the Amazons are being asked to leave? What is it that Wonder Woman brings to the story here? With with DC, it was always Superman that pretty much legitimized all the other superheroes. So if anybody else was running around in an outfit and these guys were with superpowers or what have you, everybody got a pass because Superman was the gold standard in terms of superheroes, and so they were willing, okay, to let these guys pretty much do the same because they're doing it in the same vein as Superman. Okay, I get that. What is Wonder Woman doing right now? I'm looking at Tom King stuff. It's not giving me anything. It's not giving me anything as to who she is as a character. All they've done is made her more masculine. Okay. They have watered down whatever her message is. It's just filled with all this trigger happy stuff at the end of the day, if you want to go that route with it. What am I reading this for? Okay. What's the point?
It's a good point that you made there, Cal. And the reason I'm bringing this up is that we have to look at. He had an interview with Tom King. Had an interview with Pop First, right? And he basically said, and I'm just going to read, probably paraphrase some of it here.
That's on these stills that you sent me, or these
The last one,
Tom King.
Right? He makes an address where he says that that she's too perfect, and it's hard for readers to relate to her.
Wonder Woman is far from a perfect character, and that type of stuff is usually lobbied at Superman. That he's too perfect. There's no stories to tell. 85 years later, still plenty of stories to tell at the end of the day. Just not every person is up for the challenge. He's not Batman where you can do the dark story, okay, and you can keep doing the same gunplay, and okay, this time we just have 30 guns instead of 15, and we work the whole thing out. It requires a bit more thought when you're talking about someone whose greatest strength is being good, being morally correct. That's where the character being that's what the character is about. He's supposed to be for right. With Wonder Woman, the whole idea she was created in contrast to the violence of those early days of Batman and Superman, saying, no, no, these guys are too violent. Well, you got Superman, who's nowhere near as violent as when he first started, at least in terms of that type of violence, or Batman for that matter, who's going to pull out a gun or just flip somebody off a building and say, hey, you deserved it, should have never been doing crime. So what does she? So what does she do at the end of the point? You had Grant Morrison trying to do the whole thing with loving submission, but there's no way anybody's going to buy into that today. It's just not going to happen. It takes too much nuance to understand that type of submission. So what is she here? So what is she here for? And then they keep saying that there's something. You can see that they think something's wrong with the character. Okay, it's no different than when Iron Man goes from his original suit and then we get the red and gold. You look at the changes that they made with Wonder Woman. Oh, she's a little too showing too much skin. Okay, so they give her higher boots, they give her the sigilum as opposed to the trunks, and they give her the cloak to go along with it. But the lasso, that also takes a back seat because now it's the sword and the shield, and with a much stronger emphasis on her being a warrior. Okay, that was not the emphasis. Through the 80s, in the 90s, and then at some point it'd be like, no, no, we got to really emphasize she's the best fighter on the planet. She's a warrior, and so on and so forth. Okay, what is she for? She's a warrior for peace. Okay, that's a pretty good dichotomy. How do you show it? They've never shown it. They have never shown it at the end of the day. You have too many other characters who could fill that mold. And she's not doing a good job of being quite and chain. She's just not, it's just not there. So what am I supposed to be getting away from this? Other than the fact that, oh, if she throws a punch, she's lost. She's been throwing punches for well over 70, 80 years at this point. She's got to, it's a superhero. We expect for her to solve problems physically with a certain amount of violence, but reasonable, proportional violence to the situation. What are we supposed to be getting out of this character? He doesn't know, and he's telling us. And yet, he's the writer on this. He's the writer on the latest series.
Yeah, it's. Sorry, Petey. So what are you gonna say?
No, I was just saying. I mean, yeah, I think the issue with Tom King are valid, and I think the hard part is just saying, in this time where I don't know what DC's thing about creating characters are, but basically when Perez was doing it, he was like, "Hey, I'm doing this DC store, and I'm trying to add some of the was it like the stop motion stuff you see in like that sort of battles that you see in Hercules." So it's like, but getting the action, getting some new villains, just doing some cool stuff, and then if you want to get into the character's head, maybe. But when you're starting in this thing where you're trying to figure this thing out and saying, "Hey, I know what's wrong here," and she's not just going to do have this sort of approach to man's world. She's going to reshape it, and it's just like, dude, you're struggling. I get it, but at the same time, it's like, no, you basically come up with some cool villains and have Wonder Woman take them on, not say, all right, here we got this mystery, which turn into this big crossover thing. So but he's Tom King, and they're saying someone's going to say he's the only one who's done it right. He's finally Wonder Woman has been done right. So
you're right. I'm with you there, bro. George Perez is like probably if we modern it, I'm not going to say he is the only one, but he has done probably one of the best jobs of defining Wonder Woman. I think didn't Phil Jimenez do one story?
Yeah, he did some. He did a bunch too. Yeah.
No, Jimenez's run, Perez's run. I would. Perez's run and Jimenez's run are probably two of the best runs on Wonder Woman historic, throughout a history. Okay, they just happen to be both in the modern period. You would struggle to find like a good run, golden and silver age. You may find the story here and there, but a lot of the stories were just because Marston was the guy writing the stuff, and then when he passed away, the series definitely took it definitely took a left turn in terms of whatever the raison d'etre was for it. But Perez and him and really these are really solid stories at the end of the day. But she's never had she's just never had a breakout story at the end of the day. She's never had a up and away or a Dark Knight Returns. There is no singular seminal Wonder Woman story. Okay, people will say the origin. Well, every character has an origin story, but the other characters will also have something that sets them apart. There's no longbow hunters. There's no terminal velocity.
Yeah, I know. But and so Tom King, hey, look, I read the story, the episode, the issue, and I found it interesting. I mean, I'm not going to knock it. It's the first issue. I'm not sure where he's going with this, um, but it seemed, and some people are basically knocking Tom King. They're always complaining about, his background as a CIA officer and how, that influenced him. Whatever happened in September 11, that that 9/11, that his influence continually now. Whatever he did as a CIA officer, I guess, out in Iraq, what the hell was he doing out there? Who knows? But those stories are coming in here, and it seems that he's trying to sell us a particular narrative about the U.S. And this, I think, goes to the last bothers a lot of people, where you have the sovereign, right? That's the new villain, the big bad right here. You know,
Oh, that guy, yeah.
sovereign. Right now, he's a secret ruler of the United States, and he has the lasso of lies, and he's basically, changed the way the world is, basically using his lies in the United States, and basically saying everything that we believe in is just a bunch of crap, right? And that, I think that takes some people aback. That it's why do you have to knock? This is a story. We know it's a story, but why do you constantly have to knock what you see, what's going on, knock the truth, knock the power? I guess, as some people would say. And for some people, that's disturbing. You have the state trying to put the Amazons to outlet. They're the new ICE. I guess that's why the group is called ACE. ICE immigration.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Customer.
but
Hmm?
they're all. I mean, because once you bring in the Amazon, it's like the same thing they did when they wanted all these Kryptonians. It was like World of New Krypton. Okay, and we know traditionally what happens if aliens come to Earth. The aliens are bad. The aliens are bad. They're either these Martians, they want to take over the Earth, they want to eat us. It's How to Serve Man from the Twilight Zone. And Superman bucks that trend with being an alien who comes here, and it's like, oh, he actually wants to defend us. That's a totally different thing. Even when he debuted. So when you do the same thing with, okay, we're gonna have these Amazon. It's not the first time they've done this with the Amazons either. They had the whole Amazon attack thing back in the early 2000s. But you automatically put Wonder Woman at odds, and she's supposed to always be on the side of right. That's what it means to be the hero. You're supposed to be on the side of right. You're supposed to be morally correct. Oh, we're gonna put her where she's gonna have to, make a decision. Well, what decision is she gonna make that's right at the end of the day? So you're starting off on the wrong foot. You need something that she can actually tackle, and she is uniquely crafted in order to do such. But I think a lot of times they're overly influenced with the fact that this is a female character. Okay, the politics same thing when they have a minority character. The politics that come into being a female or being black or being Middle Eastern, whatever it may be, and then we have to try to address these whole things. Other than, hey, why don't we just why don't we just come up with a really good story for this particular character? You might even finally come up with something seminal for her, and it just doesn't happen. We just got her 6'2" running around with the sword, talking tough, making Sarge Steel, into some, jerk who doesn't seem to have an ounce of diplomacy with him. Okay, where is this supposed to end at the end of the day? And what if you're I don't even know if you're a Wonder Woman reader. Yeah, I would have to ask, what are you getting out of this? My understanding of this character through the Perez run and through the Jimenez run is very different than what I'm seeing right over here. I mean, in Jimenez's run too, she really made a lot of strides towards the more of the ambassador role, and really looking to try to promote peace without eschewing, the fact that you have to be willing to fight for peace. Not if I throw a punch, I've already lost. I've got to be willing to throw a punch to maintain peace and to further it. Okay, and then after the battles, after the battle is over, it's not going to be this whole thing. I'm going to run ripshot over you. We're going to still try to educate you guys that this is a better way. I'm not getting that from this. I haven't got that from Wonder Woman in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, and then you're right. Story first. Story first. Of course, since it's a comic book, art second. Okay, but story first. And we need to put somebody else on. I'm not knocking Tom King. We need to first see more. It's just the first issue, you know. And by it could turn to this could be the defining run of Wonder Woman that we, a lot of people tried. I think Rucker's had a good run on it, but we need to really see what's going to happen here going forward.
Mhm.
I don't think the type of lashing that Tom has gotten, I don't think it's cool. I mean, people either completely love it or completely hate it. And I'm of two minds. I can see where people are having problems with that. I mean, but I look at the art and it's just stunning. I look at the way the board, the boarding, I guess the board is set up is fantastic. I see the story, and it's just that some of these stories, I read this and I think, you know, what's happening to the X-Men now in the Fall of X, with them all the mutants being killed. Now they're being hunted and they have to hide. And I guess this is where you have Amazon attack, because they're like, we Amazonians, we're warriors. We're not sitting down and taking this crap, you know. So
The Amazon
Well,
pressing bullets.
but how many? I
well,
mean,
if you
there's two hundred and
what's
three.
what's what's okay. I don't think if nickname is right or Kenning is right, but Batman would be also be known as the Dark Knight. What's Superman also known
The Man of Steel.
Thank you, PD. Mars is over here looking over. Oh, that's too difficult. No, Batman the Dark Knight, Superman the Man of Steel. What's Wonder Woman known as?
Princess.
Yeah, you can do the. Well, I mean, he's saying like a moniker. I think when they were thinking about it, they were going, which didn't wasn't. I think when they were trying to pitch a Wonder Woman thing, they were going for Amazon or something like that, which doesn't work at all. So if you
I
didn't
mean,
really
and that's
have that,
specific. Because they specifically like to use Wonder Woman saying that she's part of this trinity with Batman and Superman, and yet there's no story. There's really, I mean, we all know the behind the scenes stuff that they got to keep this character published to maintain the rights. Because at one point they had killed her off, and then they realized, oh, wait a minute, if we kill her off, we got to revert the rights reverts back. Okay, we got to have a new Wonder Woman series coming out because at the end of Crisis, I think they didn't really have any more stories for her, and they really wanted to put her to bed for a while. And so, if you read Crisis, she was effectively dead. She was returned back to clay, which isn't even her origin story. Now she's like, she's a demigod, daughter of Zeus, and daughter of Hippolyta at the end of the day, as opposed to the literally she had like an Adam creation, like a creation. God creates Adam, woman creates child, that type of thing going on with her original origin. But again, if you Superman, if I say the Man of Steel, you know it's Superman. Okay, Dark Knight, you know it's Batman. We've never had that for Wonder Woman. And then I look at these type of stories and I see why they don't know what to do with her.
well,
They don't know what to do with her, and it doesn't seem like they are actually focused on trying to come up with something other than the fact that she's a female character.
I would only add that like characters of DC, like the Flash, and regretfully like Batman, Wonder Woman at the time of Crisis. Well, Batman for after in the '60s, they were running to low sales. So whether they, hadn't necessarily, gotten to, they never really put forth the effort during a time when other characters were. The closest thing they tried to do was put Denny O'Neil on it, and he kind of screwed it up. So by the time it got to Crisis, same with Flash, they were like, well, they didn't say it, but I think it was more in line with what you said. Like, let's put her on ice for a little while. Maybe we did. I think they did the Life of Wonder Woman, of the Golden Age Wonder Woman, but it's like it ran into what happens, which is low sales. Which why they were saying that you couldn't do any more Flash stories, and they hadn't planned on doing a Flash series. They just had Mike Baron, and they're just like, hey, let's do another series, another Crisis type series, Legend, and we'll get Flash going. So they got him going immediately after that, and Wonder Woman, of course, they had to do a lot. They had to get that rolling sooner because they knew it was, but it was also stalling at the same time. So I think they did actually have some plans post that, because that was something that I think Gerber and what's the name was pitching, but they didn't come up with anything, and they went with what's the name. But low sales was kind of the thing that happens and almost killed Batman. So Batman, I think before the Batman TV show. So that can happen, but Batman had a lot of, as you were saying, there's a lot more stuff that when people were going back to it before Neil Adams got there, they were like, no, Batman has a character that has his roots. But at the same time, even though the wacky stuff of the 50s and 40s, those are still some that have some of the most memorable stories too. So I'm not disagreeing on that angle, but it's just slow sales that took her out for a little while.
But I think that you're right, and I think that the problem is I think Kyle said it. What's her, what's her shtick, right? Is she just the Amazonian? Is she the does she represent the female Aquaman? You know what I'm trying to say? We've always had that whole issue. What happens to Aquaman when he gets to land? He's always fighting the humans. I mean, her shtick is she
Not
is
the
the
way
god.
we originally was. He just would do. He was a superhero. That's the
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
You can stay with that. You can stay with the superhero aspect.
It's not selling as well, and I get what you're saying, but I think that we miss out on something that they that was we had a good route to explaining Wonder Woman really good. You have Superman, you have Batman fighting the lower level criminals, you have Superman fighting the more powerful criminals, but she's holding us against the world of gods. You know what I'm trying to say? And it shouldn't just be the Olympian gods; it should be all gods. What do they call her in the movie, the God Slayer or something like that? She should be the one saying, "Hey, you dudes need to hold on to your, chill out. Humans have to live their lives. They got to do what they have to do. Where gods are, as we know, are always trying to encroach on getting followers and stuff like that. She should be that guardian, you know. And so you should have more stories again once outside the just the Egyptian pantheon. And I think she's fought. I think that they had a. I think she fought the new gods, right? You know, that
Maybe
should be the
that's
one.
right. Yes, yeah, yeah.
She is
There's
the
a couple of
defender.
them.
Like Strange is the defender for the for magic, right? That to me, when that's what she should basically be known for, and that should be a. There's so much they can do there. Along with the Olympian mythology, the mythology that can be used with you know, the Norse, of course, that the people who have that coined right now is our boys Marvel, but the Mayan, the Egyptian, I'm just saying, you bring these things and you start interwoven, and guess what? You're going to find fantastic nemesis for her that are not just women, that are also men, who can come against her or who are both.
No, no, let her fight. Let her fight women. Don't let her fight any men.
No, but why? Why limit her to just women? That makes no sense. Let her fight. She's a
Because
hero. A hero shouldn't be limited to just
most
one
of
sex.
because the male heroes pretty much fight dudes. We don't have male dudes. Male superheroes don't really fight that many female villains. At the end of the day, let her fight women. Because the second you throw a man in there, it's always the same trite nonsense. Somebody's got to call her. Somebody's got to call her the B word, okay, or they're gonna insult her somehow for being a woman. It's always the same crap. It's not the same, okay. It's not the same when you got Superman fighting the chick at the end of the day. They'll have the chick smack him around to show how formidable he is. We don't want to see that with Wonder Woman. We don't want to see her fighting some dude and she's getting a smack crap out of her or anything of that nature, because we still don't want to see violence against women, even if it is a woman like Wonder Woman. Let her fight chicks. They can beat each other up as much as they want.
I'm not going to the gorgeous ladies of wrestling. Like she's already been fighting.
WWE.
Like Glow. But I think you can't roll the clock back that far to say, "Oh, we're going to fix this aspect." Whereas that is an aspect that can happen with writers. Ultimately, the Stan and Jack approach, the Batman approach. You come up with some colorful villains and you memorable ones and try to get them to stick. That's when this has been the thing that's not just hurt her, but there's they've kind of made the Flash villains into like a thing where they were kind of low level compared to him, but they kind of made them into, hey, these guys they look like they were 3 tiers below Batman villains, but at the same time they kind of made them into this thing where they're have a little more weight to them. So, and Wonder Woman, some of the stories, they had.
Hmm? The Flash roads?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So it's like, if you have like, who was it? Wonder Woman, just get to getting your colorful villains, the Stan and Jack approach, the Batman approach, just to a lesser extent, Superman, because he has some classic villains in Brainiac, Luthor, that sort of thing. You just try to bring that sort of aspect to the character. And, sometimes it doesn't catch. The next writer may not pick up on it. But at the same time, that's the thing where you had, people immediately when Darkseid, they had a chance to use Darkseid, they started using them. You see him in the Return of the New Gods, then the Justice League, then the Legion, and then it start the steamroll where they're using them a lot. So just try to come up with some villains and just do the classic approach to it, and then you can kind of slip into Outlaw. Just don't do it for too long. I couldn't sit around there if she's in a bunker like Rambo talking about this one. It's just like it's not something that can really stick to her, like a political drama.
You don't like the gods approach.
No, I mean,
no,
that's
where she should be. That's part of the origins of the character. It's the foundation. You should be able to return to there to develop some Jesus. I mean, Superman is basically a soft science fiction character. Batman is detective comics. Flash is not Flash. Captain Marvel is magic, and Wonder Woman is mythology. So if you can't, I mean, there's so much to glean in terms of mythology at the end of the day. It works for Thor. It works for Thor at the end of the day. And with her, part of the problem is that the Greek gods in the DC universe can't really be that powerful in comparison to the DC superheroes, because that's like their own Greek pantheon right there. So that can be a little challenging, but that's the foundation of her. That's the foundation of her character. I mean, she's still not. They wanted to tie her even more strongly into it by making her a demigod, being a daughter of Zeus. That's where that's what you're going to do. That's where you should be able to draw some really great story ideas since that's the character's foundation. And you're like, no, we can't do that. You're too focused. If you're going to be too focused on her sex, and if you're too focused on the fact that we've got to tell certain stories because of that, then you got really nowhere to go with her. And that's where she's been for a long time.
I mean, the thing is, you're right, 100%, Cal, and I think that she is that gateway. The Amazons, I have always looked at the Amazons, and I could be wrong. They're that gateway between man and gods, right? And they try to hold back the negative aspects of the gods. I mean, again, you might not like this, but I look at you have the Zack Snyder movie where the Amazons went out to stop Darkseid, right? This is what they should be doing, Not, oh, hey, let's go have an embassy in Washington, D.C. and chill out. Oh, we need to have our rights.
Yeah, I definitely can't deal with the embassy, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, come on, bro. You have a bigger responsibility. You know what I'm trying to say? For saving the world, and your job is to hold back those mad demons and gods that are lurking in the shadows on the other side. We need to have the magic. We need to have the god mythologies. And that's where she's that crux, and they can use it so much better. Like between us, we stand in the light against the darkness, right?
Right. Well, give her something. There's got to be more to. There's got to be more to this. I mean, even if you want to go by classic, the Greek myths, the Amazons weren't built like men. It was said that they fought like men. Okay, so these are women who fought like men at the end of the day. And even then, when they met up against Hercules and his dudes, they got demolished. They got demolished at the end of the day. So, the whole idea of the warrior aspect, if you want to go by myth, okay, that could be it. But that shouldn't be it. Themyscira is also this place of music, of poetry, of super science with the purple ray and everything. There's a whole bunch of stuff that they advanced, and they decided all that goes to the side to do what? The warrior aspect, the most masculine aspect of everything that was developed with the character. So you got to try to bring some of that back in there as well, and not just focus on this one bit of it. But that also should draw in. That also should draw in the mythology. There's all of these things that you could do, and some of the stuff that I mean, it would be great if you saw like a Wonder Woman Peace on Earth, like they did with Superman, where she's trying to do something like feed people across the world, or she's trying to give medicine to people, or she's trying to resolve a conflict. And we see how tough it is to resolve a conflict, even if it's something like an Israeli-Palestinian thing. But she does it, because she can do that in a comic. We may not be able to do that in the real world, but she can do that in a comic and show people, look, this is how you actually get it done. And we see that the paces that she has to go through, where she's solving something that's, it's not punchable. She can't do it with the lasso, but because of the abilities and the character she has, that she's able to resolve it, as opposed to what we're seeing in this first issue. It's really just not a mover for me at the end of the day. And then this character, I mean, I won't say that. but I would love to see something seminal with her. You know, she's been around for over 80 years, and there's still nothing I can point to like right here, right here. You know, this is the Wonder Woman story that you have to read. There's a bunch of good stuff, okay, that I could say, look, you might enjoy, but you know, there's no, you know, there's no Dark Knight Returns, okay. You know, there's no up and away. There's just nothing I can do with her.
Okay. So look, anything else, PD, before we close out?
No, I mean, I think there's well, I mean, it's Tom King, so whether there is some sort of negative thing, I'm pretty sure they're going to bring some sales to it. I think, you know, and that's he's got all these other runs that are hot. He does get, you know, I mean, even within being around some of his peers saying some of the ideals and such. Yeah, but at the same time, he's one of the top writers, so it's going to get some sales. He'll figure some things out. I mean, for me, it's not always been the thing, but the thing that I've been my cup of tea. But at the same time, hopefully, as anything, will bring some sales to the character. So I'm still wondering why Jim Lee was doing he did he did Stan Lee's Wonder Woman, but I was just like, nowadays we'll never get him to do another series like that. But I thought, wow, he still had the ink in his pen, or the lead in his pencil. He should have done the Wonder Woman, or maybe even a short thing of that, but just to say I did it. But he said, "Oh no, I did the Stan Lee's Wonder Woman, so I'm good." And I redesigned the outfit. I gave her pants, and that got killed. That got torched quickly. So and just to have something dynamic on there, and you don't have to worry about creating stuff because he's already a part of the company, and so he's like, you don't have to kill yourself with, oh no, you can't. He doesn't own it because they're paying him a big salary. So hopefully it does well for him, and it doesn't go too crazy where we have to destroy Krakoa at the end of this series and be like, oh, Krakoa has to go.
But I mean, one thing I gotta say before we go, I'm not crazy about the villain of the Sovereign. This guy secretly be running the whole United
Well,
States.
we don't have anything dynamic with him. Look at him.
I mean, it's
like
like
Wayne.
He's like, come on. It's like
I'd rather do the Gargoyle of Gotham.
all this time, nobody's figured that out. I mean, look, it should have. I don't know. Have my
When you have the negative, that's the thing. But to go to what Cal's saying, you're gonna have the negative lasso, the lasso of lies.
Right.
And shouldn't that would be a good thing of having the opposite of. I mean, basically, heroes have like Spider-Man has Doctor Octopus, and he also has the Tarantula, who's like the same but different. That sort of thing. Or that as you go along, you have Batman. Sometimes you can throw in Catman now, that sort of thing. So you can do those basics type of thing. You still have Cheetah, who's a villain, but this one. Is he going to take off his thing and become like Silvermane? If anyone remembers that, when you take off his this outfit, he's actually like got some armor and some stuff, and it can turn into a dynamic fight. I doubt it, but hey, you gotta hope. But it's going to sell probably.
You know who he reminds me of? Do you remember this? I don't know if any of you guys saw the Avatar.
Abe Vigoda?
No, you ever saw the Avatar, The Last Airbender? So
one
of his best friends is king of this Earth city and stuff like that, and so he looks all weak and stuff. But as soon as he takes off his jacket, his robes, he's just like muscled out. He's like,
yeah, that's what it is. I think it's Silvermane who was in Western had that same effect where he was like Spider-Man, where you see him holding up Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah,
back when Cloak and Dagger were hot.
All right, so hey. Give it I say give it a try. You never know. I have problems, but like I said, the art is so gorgeous, man. The paneling is great. The story is okay. It's intriguing as to what's going on. Not necessarily crazy about where it's going, especially with the whole now instead of the mutants, we're going after the Amazonians. Someone made a reference to September 11th. Look, I always say give it a try. Especially the first issue is never the only issue. Try and see what's going on from there. All right.
Give it a try, and please get back to us or get back to me if you enjoy it. Let me know. What do you enjoy it? What do you enjoy? Why are you enjoying this? What are you connecting to in terms of the overall story? If you're able to do that, if you're just one of these people, well, I like it, and that's pretty much it. Hey, God bless you. Keep going. But if it's somebody can be insightful, really make some points and stuff that I can tune into, please let me know. Please do.
Spinner rack?
We're
Is
out.
out.